You're not living your story. You're living someone else's version of who they think you should be. And you've been doing it for so long, you don't even realize it anymore. The beliefs you have about yourself, most of them aren't even yours. They were handed to you before you were old enough to question them. By people who loved you, by people who were trying to protect you, by people who were just repeating what was done to them. And now, those beliefs are running your life. This is about the lies you've been telling yourself, where they came from, and how to unlearn them before they take the rest of your life. You don't remember the moment it happened. You were too young, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 7. But somewhere in those early years, someone you loved, someone whose opinion mattered more than anything, sent you a message. Maybe it was a parent in a moment of frustration. Maybe it was a teacher who didn't see you. Maybe it was a sibling who made you feel small. Maybe it was a culture that told you who you were supposed to be. And in that moment, you made a decision about yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love. I don't deserve success. I'm too much. I'm not enough. I need to be perfect to be loved. My needs don't matter. And here's the thing, that person probably doesn't even remember saying it. They were dealing with their own stuff. They were stressed, distracted, overwhelmed. They were repeating patterns that were handed to them. Lies they believed about themselves. But you internalized it. Because when you're young, you don't have the filter to say, that's not about me, that's about them. You don't have the ability to separate their limitations from your identity. You just absorb it, like gospel truth. And that lie, that one moment, that one message, that one look of disappointment became the foundation of your self-image. It became the story you tell yourself about who you are. And you've spent the rest of your life unconsciously proving it right. You chose the safe career because you're not smart enough for the risky one. You stayed in the dead relationship because you don't deserve better. You didn't pursue the dream because who are you to want that? You kept yourself small because somewhere, when you were 6 years old, someone made you believe that's all you deserved. And the worst part, you don't even know you're doing it because the lie isn't conscious. It's not something you think about. It's something you operate from. It's the water you swim in, the air you breathe. It's so fundamental to your sense of self that questioning it feels like questioning reality itself. But it's not reality. It's just a story that was never true. Here's what most people don't realize. You think you're making conscious choices, but you're not. Most of the time, 95% of the time, you're running on autopilot. That belief you formed when you were 6, it's still in the driver's seat, and it's making every major decision in your life. The job you won't apply for because you're not qualified enough. The relationship you stay in because you don't deserve better. The boundary you won't set because you need to keep everyone happy. The dream you won't chase because who are you to want that? The risk you won't take because it's safer to stay small. You call it being realistic, being responsible, being practical. But it's not. It's just an old lie running the show. And the worst part? You defend it. Someone tells you you're capable of more, and you explain why they're wrong. Someone offers you an opportunity, and you list all the reasons you're not ready. Someone believes in you, and you tell them they don't know the real you. You're not being humble. You're not being realistic. You're protecting the lie. Because if you let go of it, you'd have to face something terrifying. What if you actually are good enough? What if you actually do deserve it? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is a story someone told you when you were too young to know it wasn't true? That's the prison, not the circumstances, not the lack of opportunity, not the fear of failure. The prison is the belief itself, and you're the one holding the key, but you can't use it until you realize it's there. So how do you unlearn something that's been operating in the background for decades? How do you challenge a belief that feels like truth? You start with awareness. First, stop feeding the lie. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," you're rehearsing it. Every time you play small to keep others comfortable, you're reinforcing it. Every time you choose safety over growth, you're voting for the lie. Stop. Just stop. Notice when you're about to say it. Catch yourself mid-thought and ask, is this true? Or is this just an old recording playing on repeat? Because most of the time, it's not true. It never was. It's just familiar. Second, question the source. Where did this belief come from? Who gave it to you? Was it a parent who was overwhelmed and took it out on you? Was it a teacher who was burned out and didn't have the energy to see you? Was it a partner who was projecting their own fear onto you? Was it a culture that profits from you staying small and consuming more? When you trace the belief back to its origin, something shifts. You realize it was never about you. It was about them, their limitations, their fears, their unresolved pain, and you just happened to be there when they couldn't contain it anymore. You were the child who absorbed it, the student who internalized it, the person who made it mean something about your worth. But it didn't. It doesn't. Their limitation is not your ceiling. Their fear is not your truth. Third, replace the lie with evidence, not affirmations, not positive thinking, not fake it till you make it. Evidence. Look at your actual life. You've survived 100% of your worst days. You've gotten through things you thought would destroy you. You've grown. You've adapted. You've shown up even when it was hard. That's not weakness. That's not good enough. That's resilience. That's strength. That's proof. So stop telling yourself the old story. Start telling yourself the true one. Not the story you inherited. Not the story that was convenient for someone else. The story that's actually supported by the evidence of who you've been and what you've survived. And here's what happens when you do. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop waiting for permission. You start taking up space. You start speaking up. You start choosing yourself. Not because you're selfish, not because you're arrogant, but because you finally realized the lie was never true, and you're done living like it was. The lies you believe about yourself? They're not permanent. They're just stories, old recordings, borrowed beliefs. And stories can be rewritten. You don't have to carry someone else's fear for the rest of your life. You don't have to live inside someone else's limitation. You don't have to prove an old lie right just because you've been doing it for 20 years. You can unlearn it, one belief at a time. And when you do, you don't just change your thoughts, you reclaim your life. Step out of the lie. Step into the truth. You're not who they said you were. You never were. You're who you choose to become.